Hey, everybody, and welcome back to COVID Chats. I have an informative episode for everyone today on the restaurant industry. Now, this episode was actually recorded back on April 16th, but the guest wanted me to hold off for posting it. He had some privacy concerns and some other concerns, so I won't be mentioning them by name in this episode. Hope it didn't slip through my editing. And I won't really be talking too much in terms of specifics here in this intro, but it's a great episode. It's with a restaurant insider, somebody who knows the industry, knows how things have changed, and we talk a bit about that process of change and maybe, some of what was going on at the time, whether it be the PPE or some of the other government policy to try to help stimulate and, help these restaurants stay afloat. And restaurants are something I care a lot about. I certainly have a love for restaurants and food from a young age, whether it be doing reviews of restaurants in middle school with my uncle, who will be on an upcoming show, or just otherwise. I've always loved food and try to have an appreciation for what we put in our bodies. But it's a great episode, and there won't be the usual tagging on Facebook or LinkedIn or anything of that sort. But still, I hope you watch it. I hope you enjoy. I hope you get a little something out of it. And if you're curious to learn more about the restaurant industry and how it's been affected, I highly recommend 2 episodes of podcasts that I'll post below. That's Terry Gross with Tom Colicchio from a couple days ago. And then also from, I think it was last week, Adam Perry Lang, who's a steakhouse owner in Los Angeles, was on the Joe Rogan Experience. And they had a good episode, although it quickly changed from the restaurant industry to talking about dry-aged beef and samurai swords. But, luckily for us here at COVID Chats, we stay rather on topic. So I hope you enjoy the episode. And without further ado, here it is, episode 29. Good to have you here.
Thank you. Good to be here.
So I got many questions regarding the small business world and the restaurant world, but first I just want to start with you. How are you doing?
I'm good health-wise, thank God. I'm okay. Obviously, it's I'm experiencing what everyone else is, shock, sadness, frustration. Everything is kind of been interrupted.
Right.
And I'm just, we want to be hopeful that this is going to end soon. That's,
Yeah.
And I'm, and that's it. And, I'm praying and wishing for all the best soon.
Yeah. Soon. I think that's what we're all hoping for. Well, I'm glad you're safe and you're healthy and you're doing well, because certainly we can't take that for granted in times like these, with so many New Yorkers being infected and, this being a very serious issue. Despite, the relatively low death rate, it's still, of course, it's very serious. So pivoting a little bit to the small business, to Ready to Eat, what's it like trying to manage the business in times like these? Is business up? Is it down? How have you responded?
So, and I'm speaking for Ready to Eat only.
Right.
I can't comment or speak to any other restaurants in the city. Just a little bit of what we do. We're a takeout restaurant, so we don't really have many seats inside. We also do a lot of catering. We do catering for films, for TV shows, photo shoots, things like that. So our catering side of the business is over. That's done. There's no catering. That's zero. So that was a big part of what we do. A lot of my guys were involved in that aspect, whether it was prepping the food, taking the orders, running the orders, setting up the orders, the tips involved with that. That's all gone.
Right.
And we don't know when that's going to come back. So that's a hit. That's a major hit. Our takeout side of the restaurant has taken a hit. There's no sugarcoating it. it's taken a hit. A lot of the people in the West Village have left, whether it's to their second homes or I don't know where, but you know, a lot of the people just aren't in the neighborhood. There's also people just that worked in West Village aren't working there anymore
Right.
because they're sheltering in place. So we've felt it across the board. Ready Titus felt it. We've also, yeah, we felt it in terms of sheer business volume. It's down across the board, big. That's it. There's no denying that.
Well, I mean, I think it's admirable that you guys have been able to stay open and try and help the community, and of course help yourselves, which is not a selfish thing at all. While other restaurants have, closed either because they couldn't pivot their business model or they were trying to prevent the spread of the virus. I'm wondering, how do you sort of balance the two things, staying open and, making sure the business stays alive while also making sure employees are staying safe and, trying to mitigate the spread?
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, we need to be responsible for our people. So the people that work with us, we've given them the option to stay home. We're not forcing anyone to come in.
Like me.
Right. You were early on. You're like, yo, I'm out. I was like, all right, that's cool. But that you chose that. And I didn't force you. I said, okay.
Right.
I'll see you when it's over. But we also, have people that rely on us,
right.
Our staff, our employees that need this money because they have families. And I'll tell you the truth, my dad made the call, I'm going to stay open for my staff. These people, they got families, they've got things that they've got to take care of. We're going to stay open, we're going to pay our people. That was priority number one. And it's admirable, that was the call that my dad wanted to make, and I stood behind that. But at the same time, we need to also monitor the people that come in, the staff that comes in, because if someone sneezes, everyone's like, oh shit,
yeah,
who sneezed, who coughed, and it's like, it's like, and we've had shit like that. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Of course,
people. We've had a dishwasher come in. He was coughing a little bit. My guy sent him home. Yo, you got to go home. I'm not working with you like this. And we're giving people, if something's up, you don't feel good a little bit, or someone sees you cough, you got to go home, self-isolate, come back in 2 weeks. You need some food, take some food with you, and go home and get better. And when that did happen, we closed, we cleaned, we made sure everything was taken care of.
Right.
But it's like that. It's so day to day. It's not like I can tell you, what's going on today is going to be what's going on tomorrow. It's not like that. It's like we're playing it day to day. And that's the situation. It's day to day. It's tough to commit beyond what the next day brings.
Yeah, no, that uncertainty is major in a time like this. I salute your dad for staying open and keeping the business running and helping his employees in a time like this, because certainly they need it just as much as, you guys need it. Of course, the business works for everybody involved, not just those at the top. So salute you for staying open. And yeah, part of the reason I stayed home, my parents were gracious enough to let me stay here while they went to their second home. And the chief thing was, Ruben, you cannot get infected. You cannot get the virus.
Right. Yeah, it's all about being responsible, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I could use the income, and I wanted to help out. I figured working there and supporting people and giving them food in a time like this would be huge.
And I felt that. I felt that you wanted to work, and your parents kind of put the kibosh on. They were like, nah. And I was like, okay, I get that. That's fine.
Right. It's just, I understand it too. It's tough though. Something you mentioned before though, a big part of the business is the takeaway. Do you feel like you guys are in a bit of an advantageous position in light of that? Because many other restaurants have tried to pivot to your model, and you guys were already doing that.
Yeah, I would say we're lucky that we can at least, stay open because we're takeout. And like you said, that's what we do before all this happened. But the issue is the volume. So if we were doing 200 heads a day, 200 covers a day, 200 just people walking in the door, let's say. That's a lot of people, and takeout food, when you think of takeout food cuts all the bullshit out. You don't get the nice silverware. You don't get the waiter. You don't get the free water. I mean, we throw you water, but it's not. Takeout is just, here's the food.
Right.
We're giving, and for ready to eat. And here's the part. Ready to eat offers restaurant quality food without the fanfare.
Right.
So what does that mean? That means that our price points are half of what you would be spending in a restaurant. So even if I do 200 covers a day, it's not like, oh shit, he makes a lot of money. It's my price point is maybe between $13 a person to $15. You know the prices. It's cheap.
Yeah.
Our shit is cheap.
Yeah.
So okay, so if you take that by 200 people, okay, that's a good model. But now if you cut the amount of people to 60 people a day, and it's still, wow, you're still doing 60 people a day, 60 people, and it's, yeah, we feel lucky that 60 people still, and that's on average, are still walking through our door. But now if you multiply that by what our average price point is, it's not sustainable given our rent, given our cost of food, cost of labor. It's just not, it's not sustainable. That's the issue with takeout, because the price points are lower. So if you look to the other side, so now you have restaurants pivoting to takeout. I don't know, people are trying to, sugarcoat and make it look like it's all good, but I don't know, how much volume they're doing. If a restaurant pivots to from restaurant service to just takeout, they're still charging the same prices, because I've looked at what restaurants that have pivoted, are doing, and I've looked at their menus. It's expensive. I mean, I don't know, I don't want to give examples, but like, I charge for like a chicken Milanese, like a chicken schnitzel, I charge $15. $15 and a side.
Right.
If you go and get a breaded chicken cutlet in an Italian restaurant, you're looking between, $30. I mean, it's expensive.
Yeah.
So it's different. So I'm just trying to show you like what the prices are looking at, what the volume's looking at, how it all kind of,
totally,
what the final picture.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Have you seen delivery rise at all to try to help with that, reduce takeout numbers?
Right. So the delivery, here's the thing with the delivery. We're on the platforms. I mean, we're not on every single platform. Sometimes you walk into a restaurant, you see some guy behind the counter that's got like 10 iPads running at once, shit printing. I don't know. So there's something weird about that. Not weird, but it's skeevy. It's kind of like, it's so like you're running a business within the business of the business, and you got all these other businesses and we're on Grubhub Seamless. I think that's the biggest platform.
Yeah.
I recently signed up for Caviar just because I use Square and it's kind of integrated. But the issue with the platforms is no one talks about how much they take. It's between like 20 and like 30. I've seen 30% on some of them.
Wow.
If they're bringing their own people to pick up the food.
Right.
But we get deliveries. We've never been huge with, like I said, we've never been huge with the deliveries. Maybe that's my fault.
No.
But and I haven't seen a huge uptick in deliveries either. Our people are in the neighborhood. They walk in, they pop. Yeah, it is interesting. It is interesting. I think a lot of restaurants that are big in deliveries, they pay for it. They do a lot of, you can advertise on these outlets and pay and do and promotions and offer free shit. Right. We're not about that. Our prices are so cheap that it's like we cut $5 off every order. Then tax and this. It's like,
right. That's it.
There's not much pie to cut from.
Yeah. Right. Now the margins are already thin. You can't really afford anymore. And also, I mean, I think part of the reason you guys don't need to be on every platform is the food speaks for itself, right? The quality speaks for itself. You have loyal customers, people who like the stuff. Yep. When you see someone advertising on every platform, you're like, well, what's wrong here? But the
right,
streams
exactly.
Good. Like, why aren't people ordering? Think about it.
Right, 100%.
So how has this changed, supply lines of bulk food? And, are you guys sourcing your ingredients differently in light of this? Has that changed at all?
In terms of like the big monster companies that supply us with our bulk food, and let's just throw the names out, like Cisco, US Foods, all those big guys, they're still operating. I think the price of some stuff has probably changed. I think like avocados have probably gone up.
Hmm.
Shit that is not easily sourced.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen a major disruption in that.
Hmm.
We're also not getting exotic shit from around the world. Like, we
Right.
keep it real. We get what we can, and
Right.
we're takeout. I'm not doing a 10 course. I need to import caviar from the Caspian Sea. We're not.
Yeah.
It's not our vibe.
Right. Okay. Have you had to adjust your prices at all to, adjust for ingredients being more expensive
No,
or less
no, we
volume?
didn't. We don't fuck around like that. We don't do shit like that.
Okay. The prices.
I mean, like, it is what it is. Like, we try to change the prices once a year, and
Right.
that's it. Like, shit goes up. There's inflation. Okay, change it. But I'm not trying to like raise the prices right now.
Right. Well, no, I think
And
that's
our shit is so
fair.
cheap anyway, man. So our stuff is so cheap.
Yeah.
Chicken stew, beef stew. I mean, quality stuff,
Right.
quality restaurant, quality food. I mean, you go to a French restaurant and you get a traditional French beef stew. That's gonna run you $20 to $35. We charge 15.95.
Right. And it comes over rice,
Exactly.
I
You
love it.
know the deal.
Good stuff. So, this is more of maybe a prediction question for you. Maybe you have a little bit of an inside scoop. I'm wondering how long, do you expect this to last? Is there any governing restaurant body that's giving you information? I know Cuomo said today that the quarantine is going to last until May 15th at least. So that's another month. Any inside scoop?
Uh, it's gonna change the game for until there's a vaccine, I think. Maybe not my business. Definitely the catering is going to be shitty. It's going to be shitty. I mean, gatherings are going to be, capped, limited. So the catering is definitely not good, and it won't be good until there's a vaccine. The restaurant scene is going to have to change too. I can say, because I've got a few people that are in the industry as well that run restaurants, like proper restaurants. They're worried. They're
Yeah.
worried about how it's going to rebound. People are, elderly clientele, people with underlying conditions. People are worried. People are scared of, being around and potentially, getting infected. So it's going to be different.
Yeah.
It's going to be different.
Do you think the sit down restaurant industry, the classic sit down restaurant, is that forever changed? I mean, Joe Biden mentioned in a recent New York Times op-ed that he wrote, which is that, restaurants might need new layouts, diners might need to be farther apart. Do you think, could you see that in a year or two?
I could see that. I could see it, but it's gonna kill the vibe. It's I'm thinking of the restaurants that I go to. They're packed. The good restaurants are tight. They're packed. They're like you're close quarters. People want to hear the tables next to you. They want to feel the it's an experience. The good spots.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping there's going to be some way to mitigate that, but right, with these social distancing and with the caps on gatherings, likely that culture of restaurant touring will change.
Right.
Anything from other fellow restaurateurs, people who own other small businesses? How are they handling this?
They're closed.
They're closed.
They're closed. Yeah, completely closed. I've got neighbors on my block. They're closed. They're closed. They're just closed. It's crazy. I mean, you're talking big time spots, big money spots. They're closed. And I'm thankful that my dad's able to stay open.
Yeah.
Because it'd be weird not being able to work at all.
Yeah.
So.
And has there been I know there's been some federal help in terms of small business packages and loans like that. Have you guys looked into that at all?
Yes. We have applied for, there's a few.
Right.
There's the one, the PPP, the Paycheck Protection Program, I think, or the payroll thing. We're trying to do that. Our bank is pretty big one, and they shit the bed. They didn't get their shit together, so we weren't able to submit our application for that one. So bank. I put it on the bank because every other big time, I'm talking to big banks, were
Yeah.
able, like Chase got it done.
Right.
So this is a big bank that I bank with, and they were not able to get it done. So
Mm.
like, and now I just heard that they ran out of money in the fund. So
Yeah, I read that too.
we'll see. But we also, there was another one, the EIDL, I think it is, the Emergency Disaster Something Relief or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be like a $10,000 grant. So we applied to that, but we haven't seen anything. So
final thoughts here. Anything on how's the vibe in the store when customers come in? Are they grateful for you guys being open? What's their
yeah, I'll wrap it up with this. It's the same people, a lot of the same people that I've been seeing for the last 7 years that we've been there. A lot less, but it's the same people. It's the backbone of our, of the neighborhood.
right?
And they are thankful, and it's nice to hear. And everyone's just, wants to get back to normal life. That's really it. And so do we. And we hope that it'll be soon. We hope it'll be soon.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think a key thing with this is trying to adjust to the current normal and then thinking about what the new normal will be, because I don't think we will really ever go back to the way things were. I think this is not like it's some stain on American culture, but I do think it will permanently change and adjust our culture and how we eat, how we consume, and how we share and how we gather. I hope, I say that, not to bring us down and to make us feel, bum us out, but just I think realistically there's just going to be things that have to change. I'm a big concert guy, and I know concerts aren't planning on coming back for like a year and a half, so it'll be interesting to see the ways they pivot. Hopefully the catering end of things will be able to come back in some regard. I'll try to
I'm
think
with you, man.
I'll try to think of savvy business ideas to try to help. We'll see.
You got my number, man.
Yeah.
Let me know.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
thank you for taking the time. I appreciate it. Very informative.
No problem. Thank you. All
Good
right.
luck with the business, and thank you for staying open too.
All right. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Stay safe.